everybody, welcome back to Drop the Basket. Don't look at me like that!
I'm just watching.
I don't want you to watch me. Hey everybody, welcome back to Drop the Basket, where today I'm going to be going over my top 10 films of 2016. And today we're going to do something a little bit different, because I know you guys like it when I get a little tipsy or drunk on this channel while reviewing movies. And instead of getting drunk before I do them, I'm going to get drunk while I'm doing them. This time I had my lovely girlfriend Allison take a bottle of vodka and pour 10 shots into 10 different cups. And then in 10 other cups, she put water in them. And she's gonna mix them around, and so there should be 20 shots, half vodka and half water, that I will pick at random as I'm going through my top 10 list. So bring in the shots, Allison.
That requires me to get up off the couch.
And Allison will bring in the shots now. Oh, thank you. That was not hard at all to do. Thank you so much for your help. That's the slap of two people who love one another. So, to start off with my top 10, I'm gonna take my first shot. Oh my god! Is that what $5 vodka tastes like?
Yeah.
I
knew it wouldn't drive you nuts.
So after that horrendous shot, my 10th favorite movie of the year was Deadpool. For years we've had some good R-rated superhero movies like Kick-Ass, Watchmen, and Dread, but none of them really lived up to the ticket sales and the return on investment that the studios were hoping that it would incur. And this left studios questioning more and more why there should be a market for R-rated superhero movies when they weren't as profitable as the PG-13 ones that we normally see Marvel and DC and everybody else make. Then entered Deadpool, which set the box office ablaze and quickly became the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. And since we've seen it come out, Logan, the next Wolverine movie, is going to be rated R. There's already talks about the Deadpool sequel, which will be rated R, and multiple other movies that they're going to think about having a more gritty, darker, bloodier sort of tone to really give off that true superhero vibe for these characters and give them that more R rating. I'm really afraid that she really put vodka on all this, so we'll see. Oh, thank God that was water. So my number 9 movie of the year is Hacksaw Ridge, which has some of the most brutal action sequences of war since Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers. And it was a really great, that's a Chick-fil-A mixed with vodka. It was a really great return to the directing chair for Mel Gibson, who after a decade of off-screen scandals and rehabilitation has been able to get back to the point where Hollywood is accepting of him again and gave him a chance to direct this film, which might be the best thing he's directed since Braveheart, which won Best Picture and Best Director back in the early 90s. The only reason it's not higher on my list is because the movie feels like it was two halves. The first half being a at-home drama where a soldier is trying to stand up for the beliefs that he has, while the second half of the movie feels like a straight war movie. Neither half really kind of play with one another as far as the first half showing war or the second half showing anything that depicts home life. And if they had integrated that a little bit more, this movie would have been a top 5 for sure. But the fact that they felt like they could have been each their own film and they could have started at either the end of one or the beginning of the other kind of leaves a little bit more for wanting. So, number 9 is where it's going to say. Oh God, I got it! So my number 8 favorite film of the year was Civil War, which can best be described as probably one of the best build-ups in film history. I can't think of another time where we've had close to a decade of having all these characters being shown throughout that decade and then having them all appear at once on screen for a giant battle and really it paying off. Mix that with a phenomenal story and a legitimate tear between the characters and deciding what team they're on. Marvel Cinematic Universe has done an incredible job of having patience in writing and showing all these characters appear over the course of films to get them to where they are. By the way, I'm on Team Iron Man. I mean, you gotta have your checks and balances. Look what's happened to America when you have a person in charge that doesn't want to follow protocol and does his own things by his own rules. Thank you, water. So my 7th favorite movie of 2016 was Arrival, which was one of those movies that days after I saw it, I kept thinking about and wanted to talk about it with friends and anybody who saw it because there was so much complexity to it yet was made in a digestible way. It's a movie that's easily one of the most original sci-fi films I've seen in this decade, and was not afraid of taking it to a grounded level and not worrying about action sequences or superpowers or anything like that, but wanted to have a complex, intriguing story that did not demean the viewer of knowing what was going on at all times. Arrival will surely be a catalyst in future filmmakers and screenwriters to know that with sci-fi, you don't have to have big set pieces, huge action sequences, and simple dialogue to make a sci-fi movie digestible. I did not want to swallow that. My sixth favorite film of 2016 was Moonlight, which will easily, in my opinion, become one of the most studied films from this decade. Moonlight is a culmination of the cinematic arts coming together, showing the subtleties that only motion picture can show. Barry Jenkins took this script of a coming-age and acceptance story of a man going throughout 3 decades of his life, and was able to make something extraordinary from it, even though it had a simple premise. That's one of the beautiful things about exemplary filmmaking, is taking something simple that, under a normal circumstance from other directors, would not be a extraordinary film, and having somebody who can really understand the passion behind the script and create an amazing picture. And even though it's not in my top 5, that's not indicative of how great of a movie this was. There just happened to be 5 other films throughout this year that I enjoyed more. Anyways, moving on to number 5. Allison, actually, I want you to come over here and you pick one. This one, so I'm gonna go with this one then. Water. My number 5 favorite film of 2016 may be seen as the most out of place film on my list, but it's a little gem that came out of New Zealand called Hunt for the Wilder People, which was one of the most unique, fun, and entertaining films I've seen all year, with laughs as big as the heart that the film carries. If there's one film from 2016 that I could recommend to anybody that I most likely know that they haven't seen or even heard of, it would be this one, because it truly is a gem. With surreal characters, sequences that look like they're out of an Edgar Wright film, and the sharp and witty dialogue of the characters, I was engrossed in every second of this weird yet dazzling story. It was not good. Oh, that was a mistake. At this point, it's pretty much a given that Disney Animation has taken the crown from Pixar and creating the best animated films that are both original and having deeply layered messages for both children and adults alike. And none exemplified this better than Zootopia, which is my 4th favorite film from 2016. Zootopia takes the delectable look of Disney films and is able to hit a hard-hitting subject of prejudice and xenophobia with such grace and beauty that it's a surprise it wasn't nominated for Best Original Screenplay, which I would have given it to because it did such a great job of blending both humor and deeply layered messages for everybody to hear, and not making it seem like it was pushing any sort of agenda, but instead teaching an audience what it should hear and should know. Oh, I'm good. It was probably my favorite single performance by anybody since Dana Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. My 3rd favorite film of 2016 is that of Manchester by the Sea, which is a harrowing and depressing journey, yet one that is done with such dark beauty. It's not a movie for everybody, and will be a movie that will most likely leave you depressed after seeing, but it's one of those movies that show the best thing about cinema, which is supposed to not only entertain you, but take you on an emotional journey with these characters. And this is one of the best journeys I've taken with a character since one of like in Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood, or Christopher McCandless in Into the Wild, of knowing that there isn't going to be maybe a happy ending, but that there will be an incredible story along the way. I should have picked the number 2 shot furthest away. That's horrible. 8 years after seeing what is one of my all-time favorite movies and holding on to the hope that there would possibly be any type of sequel to it, my number 2 favorite movie of 2016 was 10 Cloverfield Lane, which when it was released was able to eradicate any fears I had about it being bad. And not only that, but John Goodman, in my opinion, probably gave one of the best performances of his career, with a character that you cannot trust and at the same time do trust about what's going on. There are so many times in that movie where I flip-flopped between, is he crazy? No, he is completely right about what's going on. and then going back to no, he's absolutely crazy, you guys need to get the hell out of there. And as entertaining as it was not my number one. So my thing stopped recording as I was doing my number one film take, and then everything I finished. So I gotta do another shot. So let's hope that's the same one as before, because I got one before. It was not. So my number one film of the year was a movie that I waited a long time to see, and after walking to the theater, I was talking to a friend about how much I loved it and how amazing it was. And as I was talking to her, she asked me, what was something that could have been done better? Was there anything that you think that they didn't do well? And I sat down and I had to stare up in space for about 5 minutes thinking about what could have done better with that movie. And I came back with nothing. I honestly thought it was a movie that was perfect all the way through, that there was nothing that I could think of and still can't think of that they could have done better. And that's why not only do I think it's the best picture of the movie of the year, but it's also my number one film of 2016. And that is La La Land. Which, for me, is incredible because I do not like musicals to begin with. I'm not really a person who likes to sit in a film where it is a film mostly written for song and dance sequence to be able to go through a story to get to the next song and dance sequence, where the story is really irrelevant, where they're mainly trying to sell those big numbers instead of the dialogue and the story that takes place in between. The story of Sebastian and Mia between the song and dance numbers was almost as engrossing and intriguing and fun as the dance and song numbers themselves. This was a story that had these amazing fleshed out characters that I loved to follow their journey along the way. And not only that, but I loved the music itself. This was a movie that for weeks I'd heard everybody in the press talking about how amazing it was and how it was the clear frontrunner for the Best Picture race. And all I could think was, yeah, of course they're saying that. Hollywood loves movies that are about themselves. But when I got in there, I couldn't believe how amazing it was. It was a movie that, even though I did not like musicals, I was taken away from the first song and dance number in Another Day in the Sun, which even until today, I can still have that song coming into my head at random times that I can't get rid of. And it's a movie that I want to see again in theaters before it's out, a movie that I want to buy the soundtrack on vinyl, and a movie I want to get on DVD so I can watch it at home anytime I want to. And when a movie is able to do that on so many levels for me, it's clearly going to be my number one film of the year. So that's my top 10 films of 2016. What do you think? Is there anything that you would have added or taken away from my list? And what would your top 10 list look like? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you again for watching Drop the Basket, and I'll see you next time. I don't like doing this.